I'm not going to share it as much as I usually do.
I mean, you and I got heavy lifting to do tonight.
I know, man. I don't know if everybody left us hanging or if there was a miscommunication. Did I not know that Adam was at a thing? I bet he's listening right now. But yeah, I don't know. How's it going, everybody? This is the pre-show, as you can see below. It looks like it's just me and Taylor tonight. I share the show out to a couple of groups. Dave may show up. Dave always keeps us guessing on to whether or not he's going to be here or not. But how's it going, Taylor? What's going on?
I'm getting by.
Yeah, me too, man. Did you have a good weekend? I had a good weekend.
Yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
I tried yesterday to go see Godzilla vs. Kong on the big screen, but it was actually sold out, which I guess I only mention as an indicator of how people seem to be jumping back into normal things again.
Good. And sold out isn't like the full theater. They're still spacing.
That's true. They are still spacing it out. So, but still.
It's a good sign.
Yeah. Good. I mean, good for the theaters,
Yeah. I have no doubt that theaters are going to be here forever. Oh, there's Dave. Hey, Dave, we're live. You're
live?
Yeah, you're late. You're late
well,
as hell.
Look who bothered to show up.
I mean, technically you're early, but...
I figured we were at least doing the pre-show. I didn't think you had gone
we're
live
doing pre-show.
just yet.
Yeah, we're pre-show. This is the live pre-show.
Live pre-show.
So we'll do segment 1, just talk about the weekend. And then there's a new cable book that's announced.
I saw that.
Clown
Cable
Hunter.
Reloaded or something like that?
Yeah. We'll talk about that in the news.
Well, I hate that name, but...
Yeah, I know. There wasn't a lot of news this week. There's a Clown Hunter one-shot. There's a Kang the Conqueror miniseries coming. And then we'll talk Heroes Reborn as part of the news. I got a double dose of food news. No moment of destruction, which is apropos as...
Adam is not here.
And there hasn't been one for a fucking month. So
yeah, unless you want to talk about My Little Pony or something like that.
Hey, you know what? Who am I to judge? And then we'll talk about our top 3 comics from the week. I actually have a double for my number 3.
Wow.
2 on there as number 3. Is that against the rules?
I might be doing something similar, actually. So, hey, I'm glad that you're doing it so that I can do it.
Weird. Awesome.
Well, there's one book that came out this week that I think works so much better if it's taken in tandem with another book, which probably, shows my hand as to what I'm talking about here. But...
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about you're obviously talking about the event that's going on at Marvel. I don't know. I got a beef with that book a little bit.
You just announced that you were going to with the book itself. I thought you were saying you had a beef with me doing a 2.
Oh no, I don't care.
You just said you were doing it. Fuck you.
No, I'm fine if you do that.
Right.
But I think that is the sign of a good event where the tie-ins and things can juxtapose each other.
Yeah,
look at
are you wrapping Christmas presents? Is that what's going on in the background?
No, I'm getting my books out of my box.
Oh, okay.
David, if you're going to insist on hiding behind your Sasquatch photo, you got to stop doing all these random noises in the background.
It sounded like he was wrapping Christmas presents.
No,
it kind of did, yeah.
I got my books in my box, bagged and boarded, and I'm just kind of
you're one of those.
I'm looking for my
elitists who frown upon us with stacks and stacks of loose books.
I don't see how you can do it.
I did dig out my Vengeance #1.
So I was
a $250 book right here, y'all.
Wow.
This is a first appearance of America Chavez. Yeah. She didn't even have a show yet, so that book hadn't even peaked.
And she's already got a book worth that much.
Yeah, her first, because it's a very low print run on this. It was a very low print run.
But no, look at it this way.
I've never even heard of that before.
Look at it this way. I picked up 7 Marvel books this week.
What? Man, dude, 2 years ago, that would, maybe even a year ago. Well, a year ago, sure, because there was no books. But you know what? 2019, a year in comics time. Weird how because of 2020, we're now on a sliding scale.
Yeah,
of how comics.
That's true. Yeah, I never
thought weird.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah, it's weird.
There they are.
Anyway, let's wrap up the pre-show. Announcement on the other shows that we do. We're still going to do this show, of course. This is our regular weekly shows, like the flagship show. The Comic Book Bullies are going to continue to do their show right here. I'm going to be on their show tomorrow night, but we are still going to continue to do the weekly preview show when I'm not doing their show. But it's their 200th episode, and from a weird message, I was invited onto the show.
Were they worried it was going to be too good, and so they invited you on to like drag down the quality for them?
Perhaps. But that's going to be a blast. Look for that tomorrow night at 7:00 on this channel, or just go to outrightgeekery.com. There's a link to all the comic book bullies.
I think my top 3 is going to surprise you guys.
Oh well, don't tease us yet because I'm still doing announcements.
I know,
but we have been doing a Tuesday night show, an irregular Tuesday night show. 3 nights a week. We've been having this marketplace 3 nights a month. Sorry, 3 Tuesdays a month.
Oh,
I misspoke.
Yeah.
This marketplace, and then we've been doing a top 5 and a Geekterion. And I want to add more. I want to do more. So it's a little difficult to do those with all that time used up. So what we're doing is we're taking those shows and we're spreading them out and just doing one a month.
We're canceling them.
We're going to do what? Geekterion and or a top 5. Here's the Geekterion logo. Geekterion and or a top 5 and or a comic book club, which would be just us reviewing like a trade or something, which is a new thing that I'm adding. That's just one of the new things that I'm adding. So
I feel like that could work pretty well since like all of those would have like a timeless quality to them, you know? I mean, we're talking about mostly stuff that came out decades ago anyway.
Yeah, we're not talking about anything newsy or anything like that.
Yeah, we don't have to be up to date on our shit.
Yeah, and it's just getting to be a lot, and I want to do, you know what I mean? The goal is to do more.
Yeah.
So freeing up Tuesdays allows other things that Jules had planned to do some stuff, and Adam wanted to jump on. And besides that, it adds a lot more flexibility to everybody, and shit's starting to clear up. You know what I mean? Like you said, The movie was packed. People are going to be getting out. Schedules are going to be getting busier, and this Adam's gone because he's at a wedding in another state. You know, a year ago,
that would have been
unheard of. Yeah, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't have done that. So cool. I mean, that's all the announcements. But the top 5 comic book events is going to be on the 25th. That's next Tuesday. So get ready for that. It's going to be fun. Heroes Reborn.
I've only got like 3 of my picks nailed down, I think, so far.
Yeah.
I still have to think about what my other 2 are going to be.
I have like a 7-item list right now that I'll have to figure out. You know what I mean?
I guess there's also the question is like, what's an event and what's a crossover? I say it's an event if it has tie-ins.
Well, the thing about it is you're going to get into the weeds on this one. All right. To me, an event is its own mini series that also has at least one tie-in. At least one. Okay? A crossover does not necessarily have books that are just exclusive to that event. Some of them do. You know, for example, like the Ten of Swords. That's a crossover. Why? Because there was no main event book. It just was a book or a story that weaved its way through numerous other titles that were already ongoing. However, Ten of Swords did have 3 issues that stood alone, remember? It had that creation, destruction, and whatever, like the bookends.
I still think you're right not to count that, though, because, like you're saying, they're bookends. Like, if I just read those, I would have no goddamn idea what had happened in the story.
Exactly. So, to me, an event is just a main series with tie-ins.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to think about
it. Otherwise, it's just a mini series.
Yeah, you should be able to read just the event itself and have, like, a complete story.
Yeah, and then the tie-ins should. I think that's part of it. You know what I mean?
If I'm going to avoid it,
it's just I don't know, man.
Maybe we should just say we're not going to worry about it and just do it.
Yeah, let's not worry about it. Let's talk shit on each other's picks when they pick them. You know?
Yeah.
All right, let's get on with the show. Let's pick a good one here. It's gonna be a funny one.
It's a random roll.
It is. It's a random roll. I just picked one at random. I see which one it is now, though.
Somebody wake up Hicks.
He's sleeping.
Elevator to hell, going straight down.
Yeah, woo!
We're fucked, man.
Dude, that's still one of my favorite movies. I think that was the first Geek Tyrion.
James Cameron can do a good action
Dude,
movie.
James Cameron. All right. Greetings, geeks. Welcome back. It's This Geeky Comics, Outright Geeky's comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show!
I'm your host, Gomer, with me, Taylor and A.K. David. Now, shut the hell up, dude. James Cameron gets shit on so hard, and I don't know why. This man has crafted gold time after time.
That's an interesting point. That he is a director who is ridiculed a lot.
Yeah,
I'm not shitting on him.
He has produced some of the undeniably best stuff ever.
He's an innovator in the movie field
too. Some of the best fucking movies ever made.
Yeah,
I mean, if it wasn't for James Cameron, we wouldn't have CGI like we have today.
Sure. And I'm not taking anything away from that magic that he does, but I'm sorry. Yes, Avatar is kind of like Fern Gully and every other movie I've seen. It's a bit heavy-handed with its climate change shit, It's even a bit racist with its, comparisons to native cultures. It's still a dope-ass sci-fi movie, dude. It is. It's dope.
It is one of the best movies.
Titanic. It's sappy and stupid and way realistic and way too historical to be, a movie that could rank up there for a geek movie. But I'm telling you, from the moment the two main characters bang in the car, from that moment on, it's one of the best disaster movies ever put to film. It's so it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is. It's very well done.
Those are both good examples of movies where it's cookie cutter plots. It's token characters. There's nothing in here that you haven't seen a million times in other places, but it's very rare for you to see them done this well.
Yeah, dude. Exactly, dude. Exactly. And then there's the obvious Terminator, Aliens, all those other.
Let's not forget Piranha 2.
Come on. And then there's
and also, to be fair, every director has some turds, right?
Yeah.
Ridley Scott made Blade Runner, one of my favorite movies of all time, but Prometheus was dog shit.
Yes, Prometheus was
I have a newfound appreciation for Prometheus as just a weird philosophical sci-fi movie. If you ignore the story and just look at the philosophy in there, it kind of works, You know what I mean?
It sounds like you're having to do too much of the work to enjoy that
just
movie.
Run to the side, Charlize Theron.
Seriously.
Serpentine.
All right. Segment 1, what'd you guys do this week? I watched Rutherford Falls on Peacock. It's a wonderful show. It's Ed Helms as a character who is the descendant of the town's founder, and he runs a museum there. But in this town, there's also Native American tribal lands and things like that. So there's a casino. But dude, it's just really super smart, man, in the way it deals with all these topical things, like the removal of Confederate statues, that's sort of addressed in this Native American relations and things. It's really smart. It's really woke, and it doesn't really feel woke. Everything feels just natural. And I think that attributes to the writing in it.
Well,
half of the writing room is Native American. Michael Grey Eyes plays a really big role in it. He's sort of the antagonist protagonist, depending on which way you look at it. The Ed Helms character or the Michael Grey Eyes character is the antagonist or protagonist. You know what I mean? It's really just that well done. It's super smart. We're gonna go in depth on it on the Bullies. That's basically why I sort of watched all that. I watched the first 3 episodes. They're free, but I had a 7-day free trial to Peacock, so I finished it because they were that damn good. And yeah, definitely check that out if you can. And what else? I think that's it, man. There were some other things that went on, but it's Army of the Dead. That's what I'm waiting on next. Army of the Dead.
Yeah, that's the big one that's coming up. I've been fiddling around with the slicer program for my 3D printer, and I finally taught myself how to add pre-supports to stuff. So a whole
what does that mean?
There are. Let's say you wanted to print a action figure, just a person. Okay.
Like myself.
Figure.
Could you currently do that? If I could tangent for just a moment, could you do that?
If you could get me a 3D scan of yourself, if you could get me, if there was a
How would I
STL,
do that? Like a copy machine? Just lay my head in a copy
no,
machine?
if there are 3D scanners, if you can get like a 3D scanner to make you an STL file, yes.
Yeah, I'll just run down to my fucking holodeck and make a copy of my head for you.
But there, I mean, other than
So
that,
go ahead. If I'm making an action figure,
Hold on, that is an interesting question. I want to clarify something real quick. How accessible are 3D scanners? Like, how
Very
easy
accessible.
for just like a normal ass person to go do?
could I just go to Kinko's and like put like $5 in a machine
No,
and put my thumb drive in?
Right now,
I'll email it to you.
Right now, let me just say that an individual can purchase a 3D scanner, but they are very expensive, but they are coming down in price.
It's like Betamax. It's like Betamax.
Well, if you look, if you go to
$1,000 to watch.
If you go to like supply sites for 3D printing, like where you get filaments and resins and stuff, they do have ads for handheld 3D scanners. So
can I just stick like some fucking ping pong balls on my face?
No,
and
that's
take a picture with me. Come on, man.
I mean, given time, yes, I could probably do something in like a 3D modeling program, but it will take a long time, and I don't have that kind of skill.
Come on, man.
But going back to pre-supports. So let's say
what are those?
Okay, let's say you're making an action figure.
All right.
But your action figure is going to have his hands sticking out of his body, hands like off from his sides, like, he's holding up guns. Like, let's say Deadpool's got 2 guns shooting.
Okay.
All right. Those arms will not have any kind of support for them when they print, because when you print on a resin 3D printer, you're printing upside down. So
I understand that. Yeah, I get your concept. What you're saying is it's like building a building without scaffolding.
Yes, so that's exactly it. You're creating scaffolding for to build from. That's
fun.
What pre-supports
and then you break that away. You cut that away.
Yes,
sweet. That's fun.
So I figured out how to do pre-supports on stuff now, and that's kind of opened up a whole new range of things for me, because that makes a lot of 3D models that are currently available on various sites that you can purchase or download for free. If they're not pre-supported, I now have the means to pre-support them and print them at will.
It's amazing. You can just do your own little army.
I pretty much can now.
You should make me some guns, dude, for my or not guns, like these things, the blast effects, man.
Actually, I have thought about that.
You should make some fucking blast effects. They sell for a ton on Etsy too, man.
I have thought about doing that.
Because you got the painting skills too.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to necessarily paint them. You can.
Well, I would want. I don't want bullshit. I don't want.
Well, you can print them in. Color. You can print them in a transparent resin, and there's colored transparent resin, so you can print them in a blue transparent resin, a red transparent resin, green.
So it would look kind of like this one.
It would look very much like that.
But see, this one, oh shit, gold bug about to roll off. But this one, if you'll notice, is multicolored. See, I don't want no bullshit, dude. Come on, man.
Well,
like this one.
Yeah, but at a very basic level, I could do that given enough time. I can model something.
And this is sort of like a thing for Transformers. It's like this connector here.
As long as
on all the class guns.
Okay, as long as I can get measurements for the hole sizes.
Oh, I'll get you measurements.
I can do it. It can be done.
I'll get my calipers out right now.
It is theoretically possible to do.
No, I think it's like a 5mm or something. I think is what it's called.
But yeah, it
can
be done.
What are you doing? Nothing.
I mean, even if I did, what the fuck time do I have to talk about it now? Mostly, I'm just getting ready for a D&D campaign that I'm starting up in the summer.
Nice,
Ooh.
a new campaign.
What are you planning?
Are you running it?
Yeah, it's just something I'm making up. It's a sci-fi campaign that's kind of like Mass Effect by way of Skyrim, and that there's like a civil war going on and shit.
Fun.
Ooh, that does sound pretty cool.
5e.
So what?
5e 5th edition.
Oh, definitely 5e. Yeah, 5e. All the people I play with like only ever played 5e, and it's much easier to sort through the minutia in 5e. Like,
it is.
No one
I'm
wants
not
to play
saying-
fourth, and
We don't
No,
talk
fourth-
about fourth.
Yeah, that's like the Windows Vista of fucking, RPG, mainstream RPGs.
you gotta like know like the players you're playing with. You're gonna suggest doing like 3-5 because that is a nitpicky version of the game. Like,
Yeah,
there's way more minutia to sort through. Yeah.
I think it's okay as long as there's a lot of communication going on, because I prefer, what's the other, not 3-5, it's
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder Paizo's. I love Pathfinder, dude. It's
Oh, I
fantastic.
love Pathfinder. Yeah, Pathfinder was the first version of D&D I actually played.
You just got to be cool with your DM, man. And if you're willing to do the work and you're trusty and the DM trusts you, then it's, and it's not even like a trust thing. It's more of like,
It's a trust.
dude, if you don't have this shit figured out before the game, then don't fucking do it. It's almost like a respect the game time thing. You know what I mean? And not even respect, just understand that, dude, this is, if you're going complicated with your character, I'm cool with that. You just need to make sure that you have your character stamped out before we start rolling dice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love all that. I love all.
Oh,
this.
I love the number crunching.
So
I love
yes.
I love going through like hundreds of feats that you can pick from.
Oh my gosh! It's
I also appreciate 5e for being, I can just sit down and play.
Streamline, exactly. It's a more focus on the role playing.
Pick up and go
in the math.
Like, both have their strengths, I would say.
Sure. I want to do space. Is there 5e for space? In space?
I don't think there's any official
they should do
material.
that shit. Bring back the spell.
I would be surprised if they got any further than steampunk with official material.
I know that there's some homebrewed stuff that they did.
Man, there's a
Kickstarter campaign for.
Well, of course there fucking is. There's a homebrew for every goddamn thing you can imagine.
There's a homebrew Transformers RPG that I was reading through. It was pretty rad, actually. It seemed like a good time. You know what I'm saying? If you could be a Cybertronian, I'm sure there's a certain audience for that. And he's not here. He's not here this week.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's do the news. Talking about in the news, talking about D&D. There's a Forgotten Realms Magic the Gathering set. It looks pretty rad. I don't have that in the news.
Well, there's been a lot of crossover with D&D and Dungeons and Magic the Gathering.
Well, they own all that shit.
I'm surprised they haven't been doing this for years. I mean,
know, right?
It's all in-house for them.
Yeah,
I can't believe they've been sitting on this for so long.
It's low-hanging fruit, man.
I know they have at least 2 modules that are based in Magic the Gathering planes.
Dude, some of those stories, I haven't been into Magic the Gathering, especially the stories, in so long. But like Weatherlight, I think was the name of a set, maybe.
There's stuff that's still happening that came out of Weatherlight.
Dude, the stories are so,
they're getting back
really
to the Phyrexians, man.
See, that's weird shit, man. But yeah, that set looks dope, man. And they haven't even released but like 4 cards out of it, So I'm sure there's going to be like a legendary Drist card, and it's all about collecting that shit. It's going to be fun. Anyway, on to the news. There's a Cable book coming out. Cable Reloaded. Old Man Cable. It's a one-shot. It's by Al Ewing. Bob Quinn is going to do the art in it. I'm pretty sure Bob Quinn is the one who's been doing the Guardians of the Galaxy art with him.
There's a new Annihilation storyline coming.
Yeah, it's called The Last Annihilation. This has already been announced as a crossover between Al Ewing's other 2 spacey books, Sword and Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy number 14 actually came out this week. It might be on someone's top 3 just because of a certain character. Don't play coy. Don't play coy. But anyway, the big gun is back. It's a new era in a new galaxy that's under siege from a deadly new threat, but you can still rely on one man. Cable is lock, loaded, and landing on the deadliest planet in X history to steal the ultimate weapon and stop the last annihilation. I'm not really sure where this is going to lead out of the Cable book that's currently ongoing. Currently, Cable is in sort of an identity crisis of his own. He doesn't feel up. Not even identity. It's more like imposter syndrome. He doesn't feel like he's up to the challenge of beating Strife. Even though after rereading Cable recently, I'm not really sure that Strife is even around. I think it might be part of fucking young Cable's imagination. But either way, he's on this mission to try to bring old Cable back so old Cable can take care of Strife. So obviously old Cable is going to come back, or is back possibly, because that book is so weird.
Time travel shenanigans.
Yeah, time travel shenanigans. Yeah. Maybe there's a loophole in these Krakoan laws where you can't have doubles of people because of the resurrection protocols. Maybe they're going to let both of them.
Clones, but maybe you can have like clones, alternate timeline versions of yourself. I don't know how that works.
Though.
Clones can't get resurrected, I think is the law.
Like yeah, that's right. Unless you're the Cuckoos, because that's somehow different.
Aren't they? Are they clones? I thought they were like twin tuplets.
I thought they were clones.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
I mean, well, I guess from a genetic standpoint, not much. I guess.
Yeah. So maybe they'll. I know, right? So maybe they'll find a loophole where old and young Cable can both live, which is going to make the next X-Men book where they talk about the Summers House on the Moon just that much better. If old and young Cable are both there hanging out.
Those Thanksgivings are going to be weird.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's going to be weird. But back to the image, he does have the Starlight Sword, or is the Starlight Sword? It's the Space Knight Sword, whatever it is. Let me change my band.
The thing he was using in Ten of Swords, yeah.
Yeah, which he got from the Space Knights. He stole from the Space Knight. So yeah, we're not sure what's going to happen there, but I do know I am going to read the Last Annihilation crossover because Sword is great. Al Ewing is awesome. This issue of Guardians was not as good as the last one, but it was still had great moments, fun. But we'll see. We'll see. Anything else? Nothing else on that.
Well, I'll definitely check it out just because Al Ewing,
I like the idea of a single writer getting to do something like this.
Yeah, they've given him they've given him basically all of space as his playground, it seems. He's doing Guardians, he's doing Sword, and now he's doing like a space crossover event, and that's cool.
When you revolutionize one of the oldest characters in comic book fiction and make him fresh and new again the way Al Ewing did, I mean, Marvel might as well just do whatever the hell you want, dude. You know what I mean?
He has definitely earned that. Yeah, he has earned a very wide berth from them to do like just about anything he wants to do.
Yeah. I mean, they're still doing one-shots, spinning off of that from other, and they might be doing that for a while. I don't see them touching Hulk for a while, after this.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bring him back into the Avengers once Aaron's done. You know what I mean? Sort of like that.
Hulk is one of those characters who's always going to have a monthly. Just like as a matter of course. But it is going to be like it was with Jason Aaron's Thor run, where like, man, I do not envy the guy who has to step in afterwards.
Yeah, because Donny Cates' run has
been doing fine, but it's damned by comparison. It's not as good, and it never could have been.
Yeah, and if you'll remember, it kind of started because Donny Cates had all of the space stuff. Remember that when Donny Cates was doing a bunch of space stuff?
Yeah, he was doing Guardians for a while, and. And of course, he's been doing Venom for fucking ever now. So
yeah, that's over now. There's only one issue of that left. Venom 200.
That's quite a milestone, honestly.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. There is a new Clown Hunter one shot. We did previously talk about this. The Secret Files. They're doing Batman Secret Files. They're going to do a Huntress book. What was the other one they announced? They announced another one. I don't even remember. August 17th.
Was it another Punchline thing or?
This is actually another Punchline thing. It's Clown Hunter versus Punchline. Ed Bryson is writing it with Razi Campi doing the art. The untrained but focused vigilante stalks a boss-level clown, but his luck might be running out as he walks into an ambush set by Punchline.
So he's going after Bozo.
Yeah, in a horrific parallel to his days at Gotham Academy, which I didn't even know Clown Hunter was at Gotham Academy.
I don't remember him being at Gotham Academy.
Coy fan, wasn't his name Coy? I don't remember him there. I read a lot of that book.
That was a lot of that. I don't recall this particular character, unless he was just like a secondary character or something.
We got it's a 40-page book. Again, Tuesday, August 17th. Miko Sawan is doing a cover for $4. There's a $6 card stock by Kofi Afuso, and I'm sure this one is the card stock one. That one's up now. This is the Miko Swan. I'm screwing his name up. I love Miko's cover art though. He did some interiors for Valiant back in the day that were really, really sharp. So
of all the characters that Tinian has been like throwing out there during his run, Clown Hunter is one of the better ones, I think. But I don't know if I'm interested enough to get this book.
I know I'm not. They keep introducing these young, edgy characters trying to capture some sort of magic again. They can't do it. It's just not going to work anymore. It just seems like it's the same character with different paint, you know? And Batman's, I don't know, dude. The Bat books are so whack right now, dude, because there's so many Bat family characters that Tynion is trying to hit on all of them in one book. And Batman it feels lost because we're just everywhere.
Yeah, like in addition
and now
to
Clown Hunter again. Damn.
Yeah, in addition to like throwing out all the established Bat characters, it's a revolving door of these new characters that he's constantly introducing, and none of them really get any legs underneath them before he's moving on to the next one.
Yeah, too much new stuff. It's the Rob Liefeld effect in Batman.
It kind of is. That's kind of a good way to say it because I'm interested in Oracle. I'm getting better Oracle in the Nightwing book.
Absolutely.
And that
Nightwing is hands down the best Bat book right now because it's got like a relatively small cast and it's mostly focusing on character stuff. And I don't want to. Tinian's a good writer. I don't want to make like I'm dumping on him here, but it does seem like he's just throwing out gimmicks. You know,
he's writing one of my favorite books right now. It just happens to be at Image Comics, Department of Truth. It's amazing. It's so good. It's just wonderful. But
I would like to get a hold of this book. I'm gonna have to wait for it in trade.
Dude, you need to get Department of Truth. It's already the first trade is already out, and they're doing a Bigfoot art. They're doing a Bigfoot art coming up.
Ooh. They usually rush those trades out the door once they have the issues for it.
Yeah. All right, moving on. I'm probably not getting any of these Secret Files books. None of them appeal to me at all. And like you said, Tiny's just cranking out nonsense. I'm not a fan. I am a fan of this, I think. Kang the Conqueror miniseries has been announced. Let me get the info on it. It's Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing doing the writing. I don't know who either of those people are. It might say in the description, so I'll read that in a bit. Carlos Magno is doing the art along with Espen Grutengern. Mike Del Mundo has that cover, which is a beautiful cover. This is on August 18th. This August, it's time to tell the definitive origin story. Yeah, definitive. Whatever. Kang the Conqueror. That's part of his characters. He has no definitive story.
I mean, definitive for a few years. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves here.
Of one of Marvel's greatest villains, Kang the Conqueror, announced earlier with a blah 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 podcast.
I wonder if they're trying to start the build up for Kang as a bigger presence in the comics because apparently, the rumor is he's going to be the next guy in the MCU.
No, that's not a rumor. He is confirmed in Quantumania, as from what I've heard. But yeah, I think this is the story that's sort of going to cement him as the character that everybody is going to be able to identify with on the screen. You know what I mean? Because he's all things to all people. Anyway, Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing are the popular writing duo known for their work on books like Joyride, Green Arrow, and Star Trek Year 5. I have read
Joyride. Yes.
Yeah, you and I read Joyride. It was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Carlos Magno, who is the guy doing Mech Strike, Avengers Mech Strike, which is just stupid fun. I love it. His enormous legacy from his expansive backstory to his various alternate selves, trying everything together and catapulting him into his biggest area yet. Here is some of the interiors, which looks just fine.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. Here's another interior.
That is kind of unfortunate, though. That Del Mundo cover looked nice, and it is one of those things where I think I'm going to be like, man, I wish the whole book looked like this.
Yeah, Del Mundo is one of those artists now who he's got enough of a name recognition and shit like that where he don't have to do interiors anymore. I'm sorry, and this is a discussion for another time. The price per page rate that publishers are paying artists is not good enough. It needs to be higher. And the only way that these guys can make actual money is to just do cover work. and that's a travesty, man. I wouldn't mind paying more per issue. It would be better if they were more innovative when it comes to the digital end of things. You know what I mean? But this is not going to help the industry, in any way. Anyway, so yeah, so that's it. Kang the Conqueror #1 looks good.
Yeah.
Looks cool. I will probably pick it up. That's not my favorite version of Kang, though. I don't like a definitive version of Kang. All right, man. You weren't reading. I don't think you were reading the Doom book, the Doctor Doom book that came out.
No.
Taylor. You should
Right
really
now.
try to go back and pick it up because every once in a while, Doom is visited by Kang, but Kang is visiting him in reverse. So the Kang we see at the beginning knows what's about to happen to Doom. And then the Kang at the end don't really know what it's about. So they really do cool things with the dialogue.
Huh.
Got that cocaine bear in it that I keep talking about.
Yeah.
My favorite version of Doom.
I saw Cocaine Bear a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Riding back to Latveria on a fucking cocaine bear, man. Badass Doom. Keep your God Emperor, Doom. Let's get into heroes. It's crazy. It's like QAnon, Hyperion.
QAnon, Hyperion.
It's like QAnon,
Oh,
Hyperion.
that's bad.
It
That
is.
so
He's like
bad.
QAnon in this.
Oh no, he's not like QAnon.
I don't think he's like QAnon, but he is
No,
like.
no, he ain't talking about babies being sacrificed and stuff. So he's not QAnon.
He's
I-
QAnon.
QAnon is
I would
like.
put him.
He's
I
not
would
really
put him more
QAnon.
alt-right.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, he might be alt-right.
he's,
Yeah, he's
he's
definitely
emblematic of like this hyper patriotic, reflexive, reactionary version of patriotism. Like
Yeah.
I gotta go there and stop these threats to America.
Yeah. I gotta kick
America! Fuck yeah!
Dude, this really triggered the fanboys, and I don't blame them. If this was an actual universe, if this was the real universe, I would not accept this either. But
Yeah.
it's not.
I
It's
mean,
literally a made-up thing.
Hyperion
We know
should not
that.
be
That's
able
the-
to do that, but the rules are out the window right now because this
Yeah.
is like alternate reality, and this Hyperion is probably empowered by Satan and everything. So
There's another Q reference.
Right?
well, no, literally. Okay, not literally Satan, but like Mephisto.
But Mephisto.
So,
Yeah, Mephisto.
same thing, really.
This was a fun page where a Beyonder is their Mr. Mixelplick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. That's really one of the most fun parts of this is seeing the DC
changes.
reflections,
Yeah.
the twisted DC reflections.
There's a lot of fun stuff to be had with this crossover event, and that is definitely one of them. Is like Ultron basically being Metallo, as
Yeah,
far
I
as I
have
can
that.
tell.
I have that somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't.
Yeah, and then
I
he's
do have
got
it murdering
Mixelplick.
Hulk.
Oh, and yeah, Hulk was basically Bizarro in this issue.
Yeah, Hulk was a tragic Bizarro, man. Who under all right.
Make Hulk happy.
The thing about this issue, okay, the main thing I'm taking away from it is, well, there's a couple of things, but to the overall themes of the series, there's more than just Blade who understand what the hell is going on. Hulk knew what was going on, definitely, but he was so dumb he couldn't figure out, how to communicate it. Nighthawk knows what's going on. Is it Nighthawk?
I think it's
Nighthawk.
I think it's Nighthawk. Yes.
There's so many Batmans. It's hard to keep track of who's the Batman.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Power Princess, where it's like, which
Yeah.
not Wonder Woman is this? Like, which
is
not
so
Batman
weird.
is this?
Because isn't that the girl's name in Runaways? Isn't she Power Princess? Molly, is it Molly Power Princess?
I don't think she
I
goes
think she
by
might
a
be
code
Princess
name.
Power.
Oh, that's bullshit. That's not fair. That's like,
I don't
I'm
know.
Man Spider. I'm Man Spider. That's bullshit. Anyway, but more Hyperion knows. Hyperion knows what's going on.
I don't know if he knows what's
No,
going
he
on,
says
but
I don't
right
think
here.
he does.
Dude, he says at one point, even if this was a lie. Yeah, right here. What's he say? He says, but it's not God we call. Stevie whispers, and that's not the right page. It is everything I could dream it would ever be. But even if it was somehow a lie, I would fight like hell to keep it exactly the way it is.
Okay, so that
He
to me
sorta
tells me the
knows
opposite.
something's
That tells me that
wrong.
he thinks this is real, but he doesn't care, even if it isn't.
See, I don't know, man. I think it's a bit twisted there. Like deep down, he knows something's wrong.
Maybe deep down, but I think like maybe he subconsciously knows that it's all fucked up, but I don't think it's his conscious thought that it's all fucked up. But
well, of course not, because it's better for him. Isn't that part of the themes here? It's better for him. He's got free reign. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
See,
he's got a cushy life.
Hyperion, I don't know that he does it for like the cushy life. I mean, what he's doing is definitively fucked up, but I think that in his fucked up perspective, he thinks he's, serving America, that he's like out there like doing the red, white, and blue. And I think that ties in pretty well with that part where he's talking to Cap, and Cap actually just straight up says like the man of American might. I think he's breaking down the metaphor for us, like what Hyperion is supposed to be here. He's this attitude of America should be going out there and taking out its enemies. Anything and everything is justified if it's protecting American lives,
Yeah. And I think we have to dig a little bit deeper here because in context to the themes and the story, okay? Hyperion feels a little bit weaker, it seems, when he's shaking Steve's hand.
It's a good thing to establish that because, like, the Avengers don't stand a fucking chance if Hyperion doesn't get nerfed here. But,
exactly. So, I mean, in terms of the story, there's a couple of things there. Like you said, the story-wise, Aaron is sort of giving himself a way out. This reality is going to break down somehow just because the Avengers have more knowledge of what's actually going on. Your basic comic book, they did the same thing in House of M. Wolverine went to Emma Frost, gave him the information with Layla, and then what? Then they went and found all of these other Avengers, and shit kept breaking down because Emma kept giving people more and more information, revealing the real world to them. And I'm not sure that that's actually what's going on here.
It might be,
but it feels like that.
It was kind of established that Hyperion can like break through dimensional barriers or something.
It was. We'll talk about that.
So is it feasible that when he's close to a source of like, let's say Steve Rogers is an anomaly in his reality, when he's closer to an anomaly like Steve Rogers, his powers start to wane?
Possibly.
Maybe. I mean, there could be any number of reasons. I'm sure they'll get into it.
It's
but
thematically, yes. All right. If Hyperion is a pastiche of Superman, Truth, Justice, and the American Way, not New Superman, where he's more galactic and more, worldly, the traditional, when you boil his origins down, it's easy to compare Captain America with Superman. In a lot of different ways because of the ideals that they stand for. But I'm not really quite sure what Aaron is trying to, actually trying to say something about DC, or is he using these pastiche characters to say something about the real world? Because there is
I think it's more the latter
going on here.
I think it's more I can do a better DC than DC can do.
I don't know about that. That seems shallow and cheap to me.
I do. Okay, so this is where it's kind of tricky to like unravel these things here because a lot of this is definitely like, here's my Mixelplick, like it wasn't Aaron writing it, but they did the whole thing where like Hyperion joins the Imperial Guard, and that is all kinds of all kinds of like winking at the audience there,
Yeah,
but
even the Starjammers had the Summers lads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which felt like we'll get to that book though in a minute.
Yeah, but like that scene right there though with Captain America, I don't think that that's about DC per se. I think that this particular scene is more saying things about America because Jason Aaron does this a lot. I mean, his whole Thor run was basically like an ode to atheism, and
it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that what we're seeing here is like Captain America is supposed to be representing like genuine American values, whereas Hyperion represents like this
bastardized version of it.
Yeah, like this like machismo, like, well, let's just go ahead and say right wing, like go out there and smack the commies type of thing.
That's it right there. Because to some people, and I mean, I don't want to get like too Watchmen-esque here. I know there's not a lot of more-esque, stuff going on here. It's not that deep. But when you look at Watchmen, if you look at it from a different angle, everybody is a hero and everybody is a villain. You know what I mean? Depending on which angle you want to take, But I think the same thing can be said here with Hyperion, and I think Jason Aaron is definitely saying something, a critique of the alt-right here. I mean, in issue number 1, the United States threw over, basically overthrew Latveria through imposing democratic elections, fair elections.
I bet we'll see more that it wasn't really fair elections at all. It's what I think we're going to see.
I think so too. Yeah, hopefully we get into that a little bit more. But
there's a big tie-in coming up. We'll probably see it then.
But also there was an entire scene where a bunch of mindless fascists attacked the Capitol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It happened. But Hyperion is stopping it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure exactly which direction Aaron is going. Because Hyperion and the good guys stopped all those bad things from happening.
That's true.
It's
weird.
But
maybe I am reading more into this than I should, but to me it seems like what he's talking about is Hyperion as a expression of American exceptionalism, an expression of American we're going to go out there and stop the threats, and they might be real threats. That's not to say that he's not actually fighting bad guys, but I think as we see, especially in one of the tie-ins here, that Hyperion is certainly not doing altruistic good. That he
exactly is, there's problems there. I got a lot to say about that too. But taking it back a step further to what's really pissing the fanboys off, these feats that they feel are unreasonable, I feel they are unreasonable too, because the same comparisons that Aaron is making to real world politics and real world societal change, I think he's speaking through these unreasonable feats and saying, no, this is a false power that these folks have, and their true power is found, in the ideals that Captain America is. Yeah,
Captain America is America as it should be. Yeah, Hyperion is America as it often
as it kind of is.
Yeah, or at least that's the scary part.
At least it can be often.
Yeah. But I just don't know how much. I don't know how deep.
Maybe we're
Aaron is get into it.
Maybe we're just navel gazing a bit too much here.
I mean, maybe we are, man.
Aaron has done stuff like this before, so I think that there's something there, even if we're not hitting onto it here.
Yeah. Let's touch on Imperial Guard first. Ryan Cady and Michelle Bandini. Oh, by the way, the Heroes Reborn number 2 was Dale Keown with Ed McGuinness doing the backup, story. That's actually part of the main story and not just the eye candy to fill in all the gaps. But Hyperion and the Imperial Guard, again, this was basically Superman and the Legion or whatever in space, him hanging out with the Imperial Guard, this is a wonderful panel right here. Very creative with the design. I love the throwback feel. Are they painting Hyperion a bit too tragic here? Is there redemption here somehow? Maybe.
Well, something I was going to mention on, this is more true of the other tie-in than for this one, but I think that these tie-ins are doing a great job of recontextualizing a lot of what we saw in the main book. And that's really that's the ideal thing that a tie-in should be doing. Yeah. I mean, this issue does, if you're just reading this issue, it's a tragic story, but it sure hits different when you read the main story and he's like, oh, it's my old friends. I'm just going to kill them now, I guess.
Exactly, dude.
Well,
exactly. He's lost himself from where he was at this moment. I think this is a more defining moment than maybe was communicated in the book. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dave. You were saying.
I was just going to say that one scene in the where he encounters the infected Imperial Guard again would seem more like a mercy killing because they're far beyond gone now. So.
But still,
maybe, but he didn't seem to care. Is the point?
Exactly. There was no feeling behind it. There was just just another day at the office. Basically.
Yeah, he even says I don't have time to feel sorry for them.
Yeah, it's weird, dude. Yeah. This was cute. They had their own little 1992 letter page.
I love that they did a mail page. That was great. Yeah. And talking about I love there was that one panel where it was see issue 97 through 98 or whatever.
Yeah. I liked how some people were. I liked how some people were pissed about. Oh, comics shouldn't be going in this direction. It's the same whiny.
That was a fun little meta commentary on the industry, I think.
But I
you had
think
people like complaining about it changing too much, and other people complaining that it's like not changing enough.
Yeah, it was very really interesting.
That
And
was
the
a very
backup,
fun inclusion.
and the backup story to that, which really wasn't a backup story, it was basically because I like the way they geared it. This was supposed to be like the final issue of this, and then it's supposed to roll into Starjammers with the same creative team, like them picking up a new book.
Yeah.
And this was like a brief look. Take a look at this preview of Starjammers. It was very well done. And it had the Summers boys all controlling their power, doing their thing. It was good. It was a fun throwback.
Yeah.
In this new,
I
it had
definitely
Johnny Storm as Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool. As a fun little angle they're taking.
I definitely enjoyed kind of like the meta jokes in this book a lot more than I enjoyed the actual story. But still, the story, at least like that part where Hyperion's fighting his old friends, like it definitely made that hit a different way if you go back and look at it again, you know?
It did. And I hope they expound on this a little bit more to make this have more feeling after everything's said and done, you know? You know what I mean? Like he was broken here. That's what I want to see. And not that I want him redeemed.
I think we're done with Hyperion.
Yeah, we might be. Yeah, for the overall thing.
The next guy's supposed to be Blur next, right?
Yeah, they're going to get into Blur.
Yeah.
But before that, we do have probably the best of the Heroes Reborn books this week, Shutterbug #1, where we see a Hyperion sort of take the same irresponsible direction that a Peter Parker took when he, was bitten by the bug.
Worse.
Oh, yeah.
When you have the power of Superman, you murder Aunt May. Which is weird, dude. It was a weird take on.
I just mentioned a second ago
the story.
Yeah, I just mentioned a second ago, like the other tie-in recontextualizing, not compared to this one. This one did way more of that. Like, this wasn't like fresh, young Hyperion. This was a Hyperion that everybody already knew, that had been in the hero game for a while, and we now know that he's not very considerate of the world around him.
Yeah.
He's out there to smash the bad guys, and he seems to be oblivious to the people that are getting hurt in the process.
Oh, yeah. He seems to do a lot of collateral damage there.
Yeah, and hey, if we were talking earlier about Hyperion being like the representation of like American might, almost in a sense like America being world police, man, that sure is a thing to say, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
not
really
caring
moving
about
away
who gets hurt in the process.
And really moving away from Superman. Superman would never allow this
absolutely,
to happen. Unless it was the Snyder Superman, maybe he would do something like that.
That doesn't count.
It sort of did a little twist here as well in terms of the pastiche to DC Comics, because Jimmy Olsen legitimately idolizes and adores Superman. Here, they sort of made it seem like Peter did in the other book a little bit. In this, he fucking hates him, and with good reason. But it's sort of this twisted thing where, and again, I've always said it: Peter Parker's worst enemy is Spider-Man, and vice versa. And Peter Parker's job is to take pictures of Spider-Man. In this, it's sort of the same thing. It's almost worse than that. You know what I mean? Because he's forced to take pictures of this guy who murdered his aunt. You know what I mean? It's sort of that same.
I would say that's way worse. Yeah. I mean, and also
way
poor
worse.
Peter is getting shat on constantly in this issue.
Yeah. And again, it sort of comes back to what does it mean to be a hero? Okay, because Hyperion, like we said, he's an asshole. He has no care for casualties, that die in the course of him protecting things. But Peter Parker, no powers at all, takes on a little micronized. That was actually really fun. The Annihilation Wave was put into like a city, like a bottle city,
like the bottled city of Kandor.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty rad, a little nod. But Peter Parker, and this is actually spoiled on the variant cover, if you'll remember.
Yeah,
but we didn't know why that was
so whack, dude. What the hell? I want to see more of Annihilation Peter Parker. He survives this. He's got Annihilation powers. Peter Parker is a nihilist in the Heroes Reborn universe. That's
I
dope,
actually kind of like it better if he does die here, honestly, because like this really is like that's the thing. It's like both of these books, these tie-ins, like have like things where they could definitely continue the story if they wanted to, but I don't think they are, right? I mean, we've seen all of the tie-ins coming out, and none of them are about these guys.
That's right.
So unless they're going to pick up the main book, and I don't think they are, this is the last we're seeing of these characters.
All of the tie-ins are going to have closure. except in terms of we don't know how that big end fight is going to be. It could turn out that this Peter Parker is now in the negative zone prison or something like that. You know what I mean? Because that's where Doom is. Doom's going to end up coming back. Jugger Doom. I don't think he got murdered, but by the end of the event, the big climax when it's going to take all of the heroes and villains to take down the evil Justice League of Marvel.
Yeah.
But that might happen, but
that
overall,
moment with Peter jumping out, so real quick, sorry, the moment with Peter jumping out the window there at the end, I really loved that ending there because it serves up a quintessential Spider-Man moment. That this is a guy who will take the bullet for you, even if he doesn't even know you, even if he doesn't even like you. He will always do what he has to help other people. And it's a really tragic story because in a lot of ways, Peter is a much, much better hero than Hyperion could ever hope to be, but no one will ever sing his praises. And indeed, in this moment, maybe no one will even ever know he did it.
Well, he seems content. He seems
does.
content with the choice he's made.
He does, and that too is very quintessentially Peter Parker.
Yeah. And it's really cool to see him like falling here. It's sort of reminiscent of Spider-Man swinging, one of those type panels. So, yeah, it's kind of a poetic sort of tale. I mean, he's getting his ass kicked. He's still bullied through. You know what I mean? There's a lot.
Oh, yeah. He's probably worse off in this book.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dude, Peter Parker is always worse off in every alternate universe. Always. He's never got it good. Even when he gets it good, when it finally flips on him, it's so much worse. Remember we were talking about House of M? Dude, everybody loved him in House of fucking M. He was beloved. He had a fan club. And then he finds out, man, him and Wolverine talking is still one of my favorite moments in any Marvel event. It's so damn real and good.
He comes out okay in the Spider-Girl timeline where he's like Mayday's father. He's missing an arm there, but like he got to retire with a family. So, that's fucking something, I guess.
I guess. But the alternate, like where the dimensions change.
For sure.
He usually has it really, really.
Whenever reality warping goes on.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Peter never ends up in the green there.
Next week, it would not be a Marvel event if there weren't delays. So we are getting Heroes Reborn #3 by Aaron and Federico Vicentini with Ed McGuinness doing the wrap up there. But we are not getting Magneto and the Mutant Force. It has been delayed by 1 week. So the week after that, unless there's another delay, there'll be 4 books.
Jeepers.
We'll show up all these preview and variant covers while we talk about it, but I'm not sure if that's because of an actual problem with publication. It might be a problem with continuity. One of the books, that tie in may spoil something that comes later, and they don't want to have that, happen. But
I would have assumed that they had already considered all of that when they determined the original schedule. But
you'd think,
I don't know.
How the hell they not get a book out on time?
I know that these 2 books that came out this week were great companions for the book that came out this week.
Yes, 100% agreed. But great Peach Momoko cover with Ghost Rider on it. And we'll get a couple of looks at these pages. The Federico Vicentini art looks great. It's reminiscent of Simone DeMeo, who we've been chatting up a lot lately in terms of his amazing work on he's on Champions. He's also on We Only Find Them When They're Dead. So yeah, it looks good. This is all going to be about Chaos Magic at Mach 5. Blur is going to be taking on the Speedster Supreme, who is the Silver Witch, who has the powers of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And the backup tale takes us to the Dark Secrets of Ravencroft Asylum, talking about the Phoenix, who, if you'll remember from earlier in this run, and I say that, it's not really this run, it's Avengers. Even though Heroes Reborn is feeling more and more like just an Avengers arc.
Yeah, I'd say so.
With tie-ins, you know what I mean? But the Phoenix, Echo the Phoenix. That's going to be dope. I'm excited to see that. But only 1 book is kind of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Food news.
Yummy.
We'll talk more about Heroes Reborn next week when we get it. But I got a double dose of food news. The mother of all cereals, it's Monster Mash.
Woohoo!
All of the Ghost cereals in one.
Okay, so I know Frankenberry, Boo Berry, and Count Chocula. I have no idea who those other two even
The
are.
mummy is called Yummy Mummy, and I can't remember what the werewolf is called.
The Yummy Mummy is a fruit flavored one. I don't remember what the werewolf is either. Let's look it up. Monster cereal werewolf. The werewolf is it's not even saying Fruit Brute.
That sounds
the
about
mascot
right.
For the cereal was a werewolf, also named Fruit Brute. So there you go.
I know more from the Pops than anything else.
Oh, there's Pops. Of course there are.
Yeah, there's Pops for these two.
Okay, I'm seeing something different here. I am seeing Fruit Brute was a thing. Okay, but I'm also seeing that Yummy Mummy is a fruit cereal. So I'm seeing a thing here that is peanut butter Fruit Brute. Actually, it's called Peanut Butter Wolf. So yeah, I'm not sure.
The Pop has him labeled as Fruit Brute.
So who the hell's what flavor is the Yummy Mummy? That's the Yummy Mummy is fruit flavor, right?
So they have 6 bits of marshmallow at the top and only 5 mascots. So who's number 6 there?
No, it's those are ghosts on either end.
Those are like the cereal.
Yeah, there's just 1, 2, 3, 4 marshmallows.
Okay, my bad.
The Fruit Brute, I'm looking at it right here. It says a fruit-flavored frosted cereal with marshmallow bits. Yummy Mummy.
So why they got
is
2 fruit?
Also a fruit-flavored cereal with vanilla-flavored marshmallows. Hold on. So it might be the marshmallow bits.
Oh, that's how you distinguish between.
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever. I think that it's a cute idea, sure.
It is.
And it's all fruit except for the chocolate, and technically chocolate is a fruit too. Or it's a seed, I guess.
Yeah.
It grows on a fucking tree. All right. They should do a peanut butter one. But second bit of quick food news. They're doing a cake flavored Mountain Dew.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Ah.
That
I don't like it.
I don't know. I there are some interesting flavor.
Well,
That's not good.
drinks.
David,
That's not good.
Why are you doing this?
That's not good.
It's not. I'm probably not going to get this. But
David, you're our official soft drink correspondent. You have to go out there and try
it.
I will definitely be getting some Monster Mash cereal. I've already got everybody who peeps cereal for me on the lookout, meaning my old lady. She's the only one who peeps cereal for me.
There's a real dichotomy to food news today. This looks kind of neat. The other thing is horrendous.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
It sounds just. I want to try it, of course.
Someone in hell came up with that idea.
Well, I know there is actually like a Bang or a Rain that's called birthday cake.
A what?
I don't care. This looks
a Bang energy drink or a Rain energy drink that's called like birthday cake. I have never had it, but I know it's
disgusting.
Yeah, they are kind of.
Well, all right. You know how they have like all kinds of weird different coffee creamers?
Mm-hmm.
I know that they have a birthday cake flavor coffee.
I know they have a birthday cake one. They have like a Reese's Pieces flavored one.
Yeah,
too.
But that's what I was gonna say. They have everything fucking flavored cream.
I will say that I like the art on the can at least, but
it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
This is a terrible idea.
Yeah,
but this is edging closer to like a chocolate Mountain Dew.
Don't, dude, because that's nasty too.
That's also a bad idea.
Yeah. But I'm all about some monster cereal. So we got no moment of destruction this week, but we do have a top 3. So many good books this week. I'm going first this week because there were some damn good books this week. I only have one honorable mention, but I do have 2 for my number 3. Time Before Time number 1 from Image Comics. Declan Shalvey, Rory McConville wrote it with Joe Palmer and Chris O'Halloran doing the art. It's an interesting take on time crime.
Yeah, if you've watched Looper, this is a very quick pickup for you.
So it had a great scene where like his partner in crime goes to do a mission by himself in the morning, and then later on that evening, like he's talking with him, and like 80 years went by for that dude.
Yeah,
like, he spent 5 years in prison, and
then he fought in a war.
And then they've like conscripted the prisoners to have to fight in a. Oh, it was whack! I was like, oh my god, it was crazy. But it's pretty good. But my number 3, and it is a twofer, but I will be quick. Let me first show off Time Before Time. All right. Ice Cream Man number 24 by W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo, also Chris O'Halloran, and Silver Coin number 2 by Kelly Thompson and what's his name, Michael Walsh, isn't it right here?
Yeah,
Michael Walsh. These are both anthology books. The first one, Ice Cream Man, was a brilliant examination of substance abuse through the Ice Cream Man lens, the horror that is Ice Cream Man. And Silver Coin was a brilliant examination of the slasher genre. It's difficult to fully describe either of these two issues because that's kind of like how these work. You know, it's like trying to describe how a Black Mirror episode is to people. You know, unless you watch it or consume it yourself, you're not going to get the full, impact, the full experience.
Yeah, you kind of got like a horror movie double feature here for your.
It is. That's exactly. That's literally in my notes, dude. The Image Comics anthology series are on point. They are so good. It's recently been announced that Silver Coin is going to be an ongoing. Fucking amazing. Yeah,
is it going to be
really great books?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Silver Coin is the artist like teaming up with a bunch of his writer buddies, right?
Yes, and it's going to continue to do that.
Continue to be under his purview there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the first issue was Chip Zdarsky. This issue was Kelly Thompson. And it was about a girl who goes to camp and gets picked on and somehow becomes a slasher. It's like, and you're surprised at the end. You're like, oh my God, it was her. You know what I mean? It was weird, dude. It was so good. And Ice Cream Man, again, it explored substance abuse through this weird lens of a telethon and this dude going just through terrible shit in his life. It was wonderful. It was so well done. So, yeah, those are my number 3, the 2 horror anthology books from Image Comics this week.
Cool stuff.
Taylor.
I'll do an honorable mention for X Corp number 1. It's the new X book that came out last week. All the X books have been good, and that trend continues. This is definitely not a top tier X book, I would say, at least based off of this first issue. I enjoyed reading it. I enjoy the cast that they're throwing together here. Yeah. I think that Angel and Monet kind of bounce off of each other pretty well. Yeah. But
this made my list at number 2. I'll get into in depth why I think you're wrong.
Hey, I mean,
my number 2 is up. No, it's good.
Their own, man.
No,
you're not gonna like my list either, so we might as well just kind of accept this now. And hey, let's go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off. My number 3 is Batman the Detective number 2.
Oh man, see, I didn't even read this. The Tom Taylor.
Taylor. I mean, this felt like a goddamn Batman book, more so than any other the actual Batman books that are coming out right now. We'll say actual, but this feels more like a fun, Batman on a world tour, and he's doing detective shit. Like he's chasing down this dude who's this master tracker guy, and it's he leaves a trail that he knows I'll be able to follow, and
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
I
just
didn't
fun.
read that, man.
I'm fun Batman.
Damn it.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, Batman has been pretty mediocre for a while, and that's probably why this made my number 3, is because it's been a while since I read a fun Batman book.
Nice.
Not counting Nightwing, I guess, but still.
Sure, yeah, Nightwing doesn't count. That's on its own thing.
A fun
He's the
Bruce Wayne
anti-Batman.
book.
He's the anti-Batman.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
He does. He feels like the anti-Batman. Good choice. I'm glad to see some Batman getting on the list, actually. Big Dave.
Alrighty. My honorable mentions: Time Before Time.
Nice.
I liked it. Really good. Really fun concepts. Like I said, if you like Looper, you're going to like this book. There's a lot of that element in there.
Yeah.
Another honorable mention is Scout's Honor number 5.
I need to go back and pick that up, dude.
Finale, but basically, Kit wins, and kind of help. Hopefully, there's a brighter future now. A lot of things get revealed in this issue, but Kit wins.
Awesome.
The book from Bad Idea, the 24-hour book. Hank Howard.
Is this another honorable mention?
This is another. I got 4 honorable mentions.
Jeez.
Spreading the
Howard,
love over there.
He is
Pizza
spreading it.
Detective and Caligula Safe.
This is just like a bunch of stories together, right?
It's like 3 different stories together.
Yeah.
I don't know if like they're promos for like a coming books or something, but the second preview or the second story is actually pretty cool. Artwork wise, it's pretty freaking awesome.
All right.
But yeah, he basically is trying to figure out who robbed a safe at a pizza joint, and there's a lot of hard-boiled stuff going on for a pizza joint.
Fun.
And then my last
seems like pretty low stakes to have hard boil stuff over.
Yeah.
Well, it's black and white. It's very noir to it.
Oh, that's fun.
And like he's like interrogating.
I was reading Stray Bullets just before we started the show.
He's like interrogating a teenage, like a 15-year-old, like what'd you do to get the where did you get the money to help your mom pay the rent? And his like mom like backhands him with a purse.
Nice.
It's pretty good. X-Court #1 is my last honorable mention.
Nice.
I'll tell you
my number 2.
I'll tell you that I would not want to work for Monet.
Oh fuck no.
No.
I would not want to hang out with Monet. I would not want to like be friends with Monet, honestly. I certainly don't want to work with her.
I kind of get the impression that
I like reading Monet though. Like
I kind of get the impression that she's not a good friend to have
in real life. Yeah.
Yeah. My number 3 is Heroes Reborn #2. It's just I'm really liking this event, and it's actually surprising that I picked up like 7 Marvel books this week, and I actually really like some of them.
I know that really is, dude. Yeah, Heroes Reborn too. This week, those 3 books.
But I really enjoyed it. You know, I generally steer clear of event books, but I'm really digging this.
Nice.
Oh, they've converted
excellent
you.
Choice. My number 2 was X-Corp #1, and I'll get into detail. Teeny Howard, Alberto Fauci. Okay. This issue read very fast and tight. It felt like an Aaron Sorkin movie. The dialogue just flowed. The changes, the scene changes were quick, back and forth from one to another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It actually took me 2 times. I had to read this twice to fully appreciate just how well this book was written. It was written like a pilot episode of a TV show. It gave you every beat you needed. It gave you every character note you needed. It told you everything you needed to know about everybody you needed to know. It didn't get deep into anything, but it did hint at they're trying to be a corporation, but there's a duality there because they're also trying to do well by the earth. And that's a problem all corporations have, at least in terms of their PR. This went way down the road when it comes to PR and how doing terrible things is okay as long as you have a distraction from those terrible things. Even getting into the minutia, the cybersecurity end of everything. That was just in the news this week. A huge cybersecurity threat shut down gas for half of the country, for the whole eastern seaboard.
They timed that pretty well.
They timed that really well, dude. Really well. And other things, in getting into the heart of capitalism, Monet has no respect for her workers in terms of Jamie Madrox.
Yeah, Monet
seeing her workers. But I think they can lean into that in terms of real world capitalism. You know what I mean? In terms of workers' rights and things like that. That's why I loved it. Trinary, who's in this, Tom Taylor creation, by the way, in X-Men Red. But man, this was so great. Big moments, small moments, character moments. If honestly, that's the biggest point I can make. This felt like a pilot episode for a new drama series. And it worked for me so well, dude. So well.
I will tell you the thing that bugged me the most about it, though.
Go ahead.
I do not think for a second that a flying headquarters would be in the goddamn news cycle for a week in the Marvel Universe. They have like helicarriers. Galactus shows up every other year. This is not nearly as interesting as the shit that happens on a regular basis. And there's no fucking way that they would be like, guys, did you see the floating X-Men X-Corporation headquarters? Isn't that blowing your mind? No, it didn't blow my mind because like a fucking space dragon just came down and ate my family last week.
Why hasn't an evil corporation already done this already?
I think I think
actually they have.
Yeah,
in Jason
true.
Aaron's Thor run, the
Roxton
dickbag,
was
the
flying, too.
Roxxon guy, whatever. Yeah, Dario Agger, I think was his name.
Yeah.
That dickhead, like positioned
Minotaur.
a
I was
floating
calling the
Roxxon island
Minotaur.
above. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they were going more towards the technology that is incorporated into the island is going to keep them in the news cycle. And I think they're leaning more towards like the business news cycle. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay, sure.
But you're right. You're still right. You're still right.
Floating islands are not impressive in the Marvel universe.
But
Just
like
saying.
you said, in terms of the tiers, right, of the X-Men books, this is a big departure from what you would consider a normal hero book or an X-Men book. Okay, huge departure. It fits well into the new status quo, but there's no way in hell I would tell somebody who isn't already reading the X books to pick this up. They're going to be lost.
I mean, that is fun that we do have this status quo for the X-Men right now, where we are not. A lot of these books are still about the super heroics and everything, but a lot of them are just like, what does it mean to live in a mutant society? Like Way of X is like that, X-Scorpio is like that, and
Marauders,
that's pretty cool.
To a large extent, is like that. Marauders is basically a commerce book, a book about mutant commerce. You know what I mean? At least there's a strong, leaning there. I also had to mention here. Oh, this is an example of a soft reboot that Marvel does all the time. Sometimes they'll do it with a team. Sometimes they'll do it with a different character. They don't do like DC does, where there's a massive reboot. But Jamie Madrox is not the Jamie Madrox from X Factor.
No, he's not the Jamie Madrox from the Investigations.
All right, Layla wasn't even mentioned. Why would he not be living with his old lady? He had a kid with her. The way his dupes work here is not technically the same way that they were working with them. He was definitely not someone who loved to work. All right. And he says, I found meaning here. I'm happy here working. You know what I mean? They've definitely changed him from some of his more traditional and even, his more recent interpretations, just before the Dawn of X stuff, they had a multiple man series.
Yeah. Classic Jamie is like the quintessential fuck up.
Yeah. Who did that? Was it Al Ewing, or I think it may have been Matthew Rosenberg did a multiple man miniseries just before the Dawn of X shit hit. It was wonderful, but it was not this Jamie.
That Jamie was a bit incompetent.
Yeah. But yeah, I love this. It was great. I want to see more of this. I think while it is not for everyone, unless you're reading all of the X books, I don't think you're going to get, a lot out of this. But this is a reward for everybody who has been reading all the X books.
Yeah, if you are up the X-Men's asshole right now, you should definitely give this a try.
Yeah,
but
this is a kernel of corn you are going to love. Yeah.
There's no reason to read it otherwise.
Yeah, I am way up there. I am like looking out their mouth. I am so far.
Well, everyone here except for fucking David is like, I think, in the same boat there. Yeah.
Oh, man. David, too, he's coming around. He's coming around.
Well, look at you, David. Yeah. Welcome to the X-Men's asshole. It's a lovely
It's very spacious.
We're not out of there yet. I still have another X mention to go. But Taylor, number 2.
Well, you called it Guardians of the Galaxy number 14 because some motherfucking Doom action again.
Ooh,
I love the way they handled this. Where Doom lost, and I love the way that he lost because they exploited his vanity both by so I see that Doom found a better body than his old body. What? That's not better than my old body. And he tries to switch back, but then they put him in Rocket. And that was such a perfect way to
humiliate Doom.
Defeat him through humiliation. It was a great way to keep things in character. And also I love how his punishment is going to be on the Guardians of the Galaxy team now.
Yeah. I like that. I like the whole, wise man shtick that Star-Lord pulled on him to keep his word. Oh, you'll keep your word. I know, nothing's more solid than Doom's word. And you're like, okay, we'll put you back. I like that. It was cute. Yeah. It was funny. My one fear about this book is they were going to play Doom off as comedy relief along with Rocket. And man, they jumped right into it as soon as they could. And I guess it wasn't a fear, really. It was something I knew was going to happen. I wanted to see if they could pull it off. And he did. Al Ewing, pulled it off pretty fun. Hopefully he hasn't blown his wad, in terms of that.
I sure hope
not. See more of that.
I mean, okay, so cards on the table here. I like this book so much, exactly like you said, because it was a great character showcase for one of my favorite characters. The rest of the stuff going on, I like it. It's fine, but it's not why this is my number 2.
Yeah. I mean, what is even going on? They have this scroll fire cult.
Yeah, I mean, the Skrulls are doing like some sort of like occult ritual. Oh, and Ego, the Living Planet, is like.
Oh yeah. How the hell we
into
forget about
something
Ego?
Whatever.
Showing up?
That's not the point here. The point is that
a lot of weird stuff
No,
going
literally,
on.
one of the biggest cosmic threats in the entire, Marvel universe is just showing up in a Guardians of the Galaxy, and we're like, but Doom and Rocket switch bodies, bro. It was awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna mention that until like we started talking about it here.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how much this book can keep up. There are a lot of characters on this team, dude. Are we gonna have relationships?
A lot to balance. That's gonna be tricky.
Yeah. Are we gonna have relationships that I care about? Are we gonna have those sorts of moments? And I'm just not sure. Al Ewing, I'm sure, is up to the task.
Al Ewing is a trustworthy writer, and I'm definitely on the ride for now. And this issue, even if it like has trouble moving forward, I loved this issue. So
yeah, I'm on board to at least the last Annihilation is over. Just for completism's sake, to have the sword tie-in, those issues. But I'm not 100% sold yet. You know what I mean? It's teetering. Good choice, Dave.
Geiger number 2. Get a lot more story.
Dude, we sure as hell did. This should have been issue number 1.
I agree. This should have been issue number 1. But we see this wasteland Las Vegas, and people are still after nuclear footballs, and this mother, she steals one, gives it to her kids because they want to go to Cheyenne Mountain, which indicates the U.S. government is still around.
Like the dude in charge of Las Vegas, this is like New Vegas, right?
Yeah,
the dude in charge has been sending out people to find awesome shit, and they found a nuclear football from Air Force One that had crashed during the apocalypse. That alone is fucking awesome. But this woman who is scared for her children's future steals the football, gives it to her kids in this dramatic, dude, it was so dramatically well written. This moment where like the mom is getting run through by this guy where they're looking for the football, and then it was so freaking cool.
There was something on Twitter where they had a black and white panel of that, and it's just like quiet, he'll cross hatch us more.
Yeah.
But no, this honestly should have been issue 1.
Dude, this is Jeff Johns the way I remember Jeff Johns back like during Rebirth and those sorts of stories, dude.
But
the good issues of Doomsday Clock.
Yeah,
this was all of the good issues of Doomsday Clock from first to last page. This was wonderful.
But yeah, we get a bit more meat with this book, and that Prince guy that's running in Las Vegas. There's kind of like that element of like the Prince from Dragonheart. He's apparently had a run-in with this glowing man, and they built up this whole mythos of this glowing man being the boogeyman of the wasteland.
But really, he's just a guy.
He's just a guy guarding the fallout shelter until his family comes out.
But it looks like he was suffering from cancer before the apocalypse, and he was getting radiation treatments, and that sort of allowed him
to survive.
Mutate into what he is now.
Yeah.
Which, dude, that's an amazing origin story. I'm sorry. Yeah. This book just did a 180 on this one issue. But again, it didn't make my top 3 or honorable mentions because that issue 1 was so damn bad. I
was pretty happy with this issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Good call.
Thank you.
All right, my final pick, X Factor number 9. The story is okay. All right. We have the team is hunting down the Morrigan, okay, the goddess of death, who wants to use the whole resurrection protocol process to fuel her unending hunger for death, which is an interesting angle with Siren and X Factor and, the new status quo in terms of the resurrection protocols. That's cool. They ended up finding out that Shatterstar, who is over in the Mojoverse, is the key to wiping out the Morrigan, whatever. By the end of the issue, Shatterstar is back. Him and Richter had a thing going on in X Factor Investigations, which they're sort of rekindling. But this is like the second to last issue. Okay, they're canceling this book. The Gala issue is going to be the best one or the last one. So they had to rush things around a little bit. But dude, the reason this is my number 1 is because of the art and mostly the design work here by David Baldione. if you'll see here, some of the panels are red bordered and some of them are black. Okay. What they're doing here is they're going through a mindscape. Rachel is leading the team through a mindscape, but they're also hanging out together around a table in the headquarters in the real world. And like people are coming, walking in and out of the headquarters. So at some points they're in the scape, which is the red, and they're out of it, which is the black.
Huh.
And then somebody will walk in the room. So they'll just bring them, Rachel will just bring them into the mindscape too. And it was just so ingenious, such a brilliant way of using comic book sequential art to tell that story and that dynamic, that process. It was brilliant, dude. And then there's a Dazzler concert. They use a concert to distract Mojo and the Mojoverse away so they could get Shatterstar out. This is freaking brilliant design work, dude. It's just
That's
beautiful.
really clever.
Dude, it's so
That's
well done.
nice.
The story goes around, the concert. Just so well done. And then there's this, right? This is the Morrigan and Siren actually fighting. And you look, the top panel is them standing together. And then they actually like fall through the panel into this sort of, them fighting internally inside Siren's mind. It's just so well done. And then I keep going. It goes to this Celtic style artwork because the Morrigan is, a Celtic, god or whatever from actual Celtic mythology. And Siren is, from that area. And it's her defeating, the beast. And then the last, let me get the banner out of the way. It's, then it goes back to the traditional artwork that's in the book before, Shatterstar shows up and actually kills the Morrigan and saves the day. But then there's this right here where Richter, because of Richter's association with Krakoa, and he feels Krakoa, he can feel Shatterstar back from Otherworld. Richter is in Otherworld hanging out with Excalibur. He can feel that Shatterstar is back. And it's just written so well here, just guiding through that. Dude. The story was kind of shit. It was rushed.
So this red coming out of Shatterstar is basically like a thread of fate that links them together?
Yes.
Okay.
Richter and Shatterstar, at least if they're going by the story that was told in X Factor Investigations, yes, they are linked, very much so, with their relationship. But anyway, I don't give a damn about the story. The story was okay. This was rushed. It feels like it's a book that got canceled out from under the creators. But, man, David Baldeón was able to turn shit into sugar and just a feast for the eyes, dude. I read this 3 or 4 times and I just couldn't quit staring at just all of the brilliant. It's just really good panel work and design work. And then there's this for no reason at all, except it's just cool as hell. That's my number 1 pick of the week, man. X Factor number 9. I loved everything about this. It may be more that you could tell that it was going to be a shit book, but David Baldeón, through his design work, saved it. You know what I mean? And it's just one of the great things about the medium, how it can lean one way or the other on any particular angle that the creators want to take. And Leah Williams needed to rush the story, and David Baldeón was there to pick it up. So great issue. It sucks that it's going to be gone, but I love iBoy so much. Taylor, number 1 this week.
My number 1 is a bit of a cheat. I'm doing Heroes Reborn number 2, but only if you include the tie-ins. We were talking earlier, the tie-ins recontextualize the story. They really add a lot of layers of depth to, the proceedings on the panel. When we're reading the first issue, it's like Hyperion's going around well, here I am protecting the American people. But then, you read the Spider-Man story, and it's is he really, though? I'm sure in his own head he thinks he is, but he's, oblivious to, the damage he's doing to all these people around him. And
I think with the Imperial Guard story, in that original story, they saved the people. They saved the brood, people who got brooded. They don't just close it off and leave them, to mutate. And then, like you said, in the Heroes Reborn issue 2, he murders them without a bit of remorse.
Yeah. And I think that there's maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe that's true, but I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that this comic is saying something about like American adventurism, going around and like kicking ass and taking names and oblivious to the carnage that is wrought in its wake,
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. It's hard to say because Aaron is being it's not Watchmen. You know what I mean? It's not Watchmen.
Yeah.
It's more. You read Watchmen, you know what Moore is trying to say there, or at least you know that he's saying more than what's on the page. With Aaron, yeah, I think he's saying more than what's on the page.
Well,
but maybe
he's
I'm
done
reaching.
it before.
Exactly.
I mean, it wouldn't be out of nowhere. He said a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tying back in when we get the thought bubbles from Hyperion about Peter Parker, he's like, he's an okay kid, maybe for a journalist he's all right, but in the Peter Parker book, it's like, oh, he hates him. He hates him with a passion. And we get what Hyperion thinks of Peter Parker, and we know what Peter Parker thinks of Hyperion.
It hits harder.
Yes,
it hits harder after reading the Shutterbug tie-in. You get a different outlook of what is going on in Heroes Reborn #2. Yeah, without a doubt. That's why I'm wondering if the tie-in release from next week, where it was supposed to be the Magneto and the Mutant Force, if that didn't get pushed back because of something like that.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
I guess we'll see in a few weeks, because I'm definitely picking that up, and I'm definitely picking up Heroes Reborn still.
Yeah.
But,
I'm on this event for the duration. I'm every book.
In a lot of ways, these were the ideal tie-ins, because they really do enhance the main book.
Yeah.
You can read the main book fine on its own, but it's so much better with the tie-ins here.
Yeah, should you read the tie-ins before you read the main book?
No, I think
I read the main book first. That's what I did, and I think it was the right call. Yeah,
I think so too. I'd be interested in knowing like a director's sort of commentary on this. What was the process of Jason Aaron? What did he tell these tie-in writers about the main series? What are those themes? Those arc points. What are they? Just because I'm that interested in knowing if I'm right or not. Like you said, it's not knowing. Am I looking too much into this? Am I the one who's radicalized?
Even if none of that is true, it still makes for a great read. Even if it's just like getting the new perspective from Peter on what Hyperion is really like, and he doesn't even realize he's like it. That's still good shit. Even if it's not saying anything beyond that.
Yeah.
And maybe
100%.
it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Yeah. Dave, number one.
My number one is going to be Spider-Man Spider Shadow.
Oh, number two, the second one.
No, this is number two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, this is a long time ago when I was reading a lot of Marvel books, when Todd McFarlane was doing Spider-Man.
Wow.
There was always...
That is a long time ago.
Yeah, there was always
got a McFarlane Spidey over here somewhere.
There was always this. There was these books where Peter donned a black suit and Mary Jane had a fit, and I always wanted to see that. I always wanted to see that story where Peter Parker actually accepted Venom as a symbiote. They bonded the way Eddie Brock and
the
Venom
way
bonded.
Eddie did.
Yeah,
the way Eddie did.
One of the later titles in that book when he was going. But
sure.
But this is to me is that story, that what if story that told this, and the artwork in it where he went after Jameson, and he was pretty much like, you've pinned me as a villain. I help people all the time. I've helped you, and this is how you thank me for it. He says maybe I should be the bad guy. And he ends up like breaking Jonah Jameson's arm as just as a warning. And, he's going around, Spider-Man is going around, or the Spider-Man Venom, Peter Parker as Venom is going around killing villains. Shocker gets killed. Scorpion gets killed.
Yeah.
When he goes to confront Wilson Fisk about it, Wilson Fisk is like, we figured out, the...
Wilson Fisk.
of the Frisk Museum.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Wilson
Tennessee,
Fisk sounds like the porn parody of Wilson Fisk.
Wilson, but he goes to Kingpin, and Kingpin.
I just say Kingpin.
Kingpin pretty much is like, we figured out who you are and that you are a sad, tragic person that has nobody we can intimidate to get you to stop. And he just like punches his skull in.
He murders Kingpin on panel.
He murders Kingpin on the page.
Panel. I'm not reading this book, but man, I really think I should be.
You get back, and it's like the new Sinister Six is like, we got to do something about this Spider-Man. And it's like, Craven is like, we got to watch and observe, and Doc Ock is like, we're not making a move until we have a plan. And then Eddie Brock shows up.
And what's he? He's just Eddie?
Eddie Brock was disguised as one of Doc Ock's henchmen, and basically, I don't know if he kills Doc Ock, but he hits him in the back of the head.
So, but he doesn't have Venom, so who the hell cares?
Eddie Brock has some connection to Peter Parker. I mean, if this is taking
they
place
did before.
after the symbiote saga.
They were professional rivals.
Yes, so but Eddie Brock shows up at the end of this, and Eddie Brock has a plan.
Okay. Oh, so maybe he's going to try to get
I'm confused with that because Eddie, in the main 616 continuity, Eddie hated Peter because Peter had
ruined his career.
Eddie had fingered the wrong guy to be like a serial killer, and Peter was able to catch the real serial killer. And so Eddie, was a laughing stock because he had written this expose I caught the killer. Oh wait, no, I didn't. So I don't get why. That's a good point the governor's making. Why the fuck would in this alternate universe would Eddie Brock have anything to do with anything?
Yeah, I mean,
but I guess that's neither here nor there.
Exactly, they were professional rivals before that, and then it sort of led into that. And actually, by the end of that, Peter felt terrible for what happened to Eddie. He really did. He felt responsible because if I'm remembering it right, maybe there's so many versions of that story. There's 2 or 3 different animated versions.
A lot, yeah.
There's 2 movie versions of that story. So sometimes my brain doesn't remember, you know what I mean? What happened where. So
yeah, in a universe where Eddie Brock never becomes Venom, he's just a dude.
Exactly. He's just some guy.
But we don't know why he's doing what he's doing. But obviously he's working against Spider-Man and the Sinister Six. He's infiltrated Doc Ock's hideout. He's attacked Doc Ock.
It's interesting that
he might have figured out. He might have put 2 and 2 together and figured out that Peter Parker and Spider-Man are the same person.
Exactly. It's cool that Chip is bringing that in, rolling that into it, the Flash part, because you can't have Venom without Flash, right?
No,
and I like these what ifs. I like these. Oh yeah, Brock. I like these what if stories.
You said the wrong Venom, Gomer.
I said yeah.
It's like my Wilson.
Everybody's been fucking Venom. Okay, everybody.
Literally,
it's not even a thing anymore. Okay?
Venom's a little slut. Yeah,
he is everywhere.
He's a town bicycle. Everybody's had a ride.
Well, he's literally like an alien STD, so it kind of makes sense. I mean, even in the King in Black sort of Venom run, they made it a point to say that there's a codex for everybody who's had a Venom symbiote. Everybody has leftover Venom inside them who has had Venom. So it's really like an STI. Gross. Gross. That's it. That's the show. I'm enjoying those what if books, man. All right. Next week, because we're not doing the preview show tomorrow, because I'm going to be on the Comic Book Bullies. Please come check us out. We'll be right here on this Facebook channel. If not, go to outrightgeekery.com and you can see links for the Comic Book Bullies along with
you guys starting at 7 tomorrow, right?
Yeah, 7 p.m. Central Time. We'll probably be on time. I don't see why we wouldn't. We are doing top 5 on the 25th, so please come back and check that. But next week, that Fantastic Four life storybook comes out. It's follows them. Each issue is like a decade. They did one for Spider-Man, and it was wonderful. So, and that's basically like a what if sort of story, right? Like a twisted what if.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. I think you'd better describe it as like a retrospective on the characters through the decades.
Yeah, I'm liking that Marvel is doing that, taking these different angles with their characters in these stories. They could tell all the stories, and it looks like they really are telling all the stories. Star Wars is great right now. Their kids line, their all ages stuff like Champions and all that shit. It's wonderful, dude. The Power Pack book was great, was terrific. Their events have been good. King in Black was a good summer blockbuster event. Heroes Reborn might be their best event since Secret Wars, dude. It's been wonderful so far. I'll wait till it's done, but man, it's been so good. Maybe not counting the X-Men stuff, although I'm not sure you can count Dawn of X and House of 10 as an event, so there hasn't really been an X event besides that shitty one, the House of whatever it was, X, House of X, whatever. Remember that one? You didn't read that? Where X-Man like took over everything and changed reality.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't read that.
Age of X, it was called, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't read that.
I don't know. Yeah, it was lame. But hey, keep coming back to the channel because again, we got so much shit going on. We're adding a bunch of shit. We are going to do top 5. We are going to do a Geekterion next month. We are going to do a comic book club at some point. I'm hoping to add some other shit. We still got Smarketplace going on, the monthly wrestling show that Adam and Jules do. So, man, it's going to be great. I think I want to add like a Star Trek show where we talk about Star Trek.
Didn't you already have one where
fun.
you were like going through like Enterprise?
Jules stopped doing it, and we should not have started at Enterprise. Okay, we should have started at
the original generation.
Were you guys doing chronological, or
we were doing chronological order. We should not have started at TNG or at
Enterprise.
We should have started at TNG. It would have been a lot more fun.
And now you have the card to add to that.
Or just talk about like the best episodes. You know,
yeah, I think that would be a good way to do it. I mean, like,
and like the best movies, you know, the best moments, right? Like say, hey, these are our best favorite Data moments, you know, from all the different shit, you know, just to talk about the characters and things like that, you know, and the themes and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the world is our oyster, right? Some episodes could be like we talk about an episode. Some episodes can be like we talk about a character. Yeah,
exactly. And and this is going to open it up a lot more. So yeah, we're going to do all of that and more next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel. I was kind of waiting for you to say I want to thank these two jokers for hanging out with this Joker.
We love you, Joker.